Are you growing your Instagram and you are trying your best to grow your followers, right? To get the right followers, people who are actually interested in you, your business, and your offers. And you're trying to figure out how to build that brand, how to build that strong visual brand, how to use hashtags, where to use hashtags, and how the algorithm has changed now that Reels are in the equation. Well, today's episode is perfect for you. We're going to dig into all of those topics and we're going to help you up your Instagram game. So let's do this. Welcome to the Impactful Entrepreneur Show with Adrienne Hill, a place for online business industry expertise and thought leadership, where you can build the skills, structure, and systems you need to thrive in business and have a lasting impact in your industry. Let's do this. Today, I am here with Giuliana Vann, and she is an Instagram and influencer coach and social media and branding strategist, educating small businesses, bloggers, influencers, network marketers, and female entrepreneurs with the right strategies to help them grow their Instagram, build an impactful brand, and grow their businesses leveraging Instagram specifically. So you guys are in for a treat today. I'm so excited to dig into this topic. She actually has a background in nursing, and she worked as a busy oncology and med surgical unit as a charge nurse and a clinical preceptor. I'm not smart enough to know what that means, but I'm super excited to have her here with us today because teaching is one of her passions. And so you guys are in good hands with her. If Instagram is on your goal board, you are in the right place. She enjoys teaching and empowering other women to go after their dreams and to help them achieve success on social media specifically. So welcome, Giuliana.
Hi, Adrienne. How are you? Hi, everybody.
It's so good to have you here. I'm so excited to dig into all things Instagram with you. So thanks for taking the time to share your knowledge with us. So first things first, I know, there's a lot of people joining this summit because they've been leveraging maybe one or two platforms and they're looking to maybe add in some new ones to the mix. And so for some people, Instagram might be brand new to them. So what I would love to do is kind of start high level and then dig in deeper and deeper as we go, if that's okay with you.
Of course, yes. Instagram is my love language.
Oh, good. Oh, we're in good hands. Well, just in case people have not met you yet, could you tell us a little bit about your story and your journey and kind of what brought you to where you are in business today?
Yes. So my name is Giuliana and I'm a mom of two kiddos. I live here in Sarasota, Florida, sunny and very humid. So hair days are the worst. So anyways, but I also thank you for the beautiful, background information about me, Adrienne. I did practice nursing as an oncology and medical surgical nurse and a clinical preceptor, meaning that I taught early nursing students and brand new students right out of college to practice nursing. So I taught them the ropes on how to become a great nurse. So that's what I did besides bedside nursing at a busy hospital. Long story short, and probably you're asking, how did I become now? I own my own social media agency, marketing agency, and teaching private coaching, Instagram, social media, and branding to premium brands and also creatives and female entrepreneurs and small business owners. I fractured my ankle at the beach right with my 3-month-old. I was post C-section, 3 months C-section. And we were at the beach. I was playing paddleball, running and everything. And I went right into a big sand hole with impact. So that's where I fractured my right ankle. So from that day to 3 months later, I had to have surgery, which I did not want. Us nurses are the worst patients. So I was telling the surgeon, I said, I don't want to go through surgery. I already had awful, just an emergency section with awful, complications. I don't want to go through another surgery if I can do it on my own with therapy and all that stuff. So I tried it. We tried it for like 4 months. and I was still having like this pain. I could not like be on my tippy toes. I cannot even walk for 1 hour without having like really uncomfortable pain. And so the surgeon said, "You're a young mother, you're young, you have a full career and you're nursing ahead if you want to go back, of course. And, you're not going to be able to run no more. You're not going to be able to do high impact activities. So if you want to create this life, you have to have some sort of surgery procedure to help you recover faster." So after a lot of praying with my husband and my family, I decided to go through the surgery, which was like 60% kind of got me through in my feet. And then was a full year of recovery at home. And then through that year, scrolling through Instagram, I saw one of those ads that you probably see all the time on how to grow your influence. So I started actually as an influencer myself because of that one ad. It got my attention, and I said, well, this is something that I could do at home while I still recover and I still be at home with my kids. So I started my own Instagram page. I started seeing the impact that you can build just on Instagram by sharing your story. So I open up, share my own story. I was a nurse, this happened, now I'm here, just sharing all of that with kind of like I started building a community of moms and nurses, people that love health, lifestyle. So back then, 2 years ago, was health, fashion, and more. That was my Instagram. Learning everything because I was like, there has to be a better way of posting every day or multiple times a day, which that was some gurus tell you that. There has to be a better way to post with intention, to really enjoy the app, and that you don't have to be a slave on Instagram or social media and have a life. So I started to learn everything, how to post, how to use hashtags, like everything that you want to know on Instagram. I also paid for my own coach and earned programs as well. So I built, 20,000 followers, like very a niche community in less than a year, just 2 years ago. I saw the power, how I built it. And now it's like, I really need, there's COVID happened, COVID came, right? And I kept hearing a lot of people losing their jobs, being stuck at home, wanted to probably they have side hustles, which a lot of people that I know, that's what they had a full-time job plus a side hustle. Now they're stuck at home. What do? We need income to survive and thrive on this pandemic. So I went from health, fashion, and more to Giuliana Vann. I branded myself. And after a lot of prayer, that's what I felt that was my calling, to really help all those business owners, female entrepreneurs just like you, trying to make some income from home, helping others by sharing your story, showing up on Instagram authentically. And I started sharing tips, tricks, and until I get my first client. And then I knew that I had something happening. So I went all into the social media business, which is like, this is like I'm living my own digital dream because I get to work from home, help others grow. And it really, I still have my nursing license, because I do volunteer for my church. And I plan probably to do some type of business too. I have ideas. I'm always having ideas. So I'm like, yes, I'm probably going to do something too later on. So, but I'm enjoying this, and it's been a full year of helping like hundreds of people grow their businesses online, especially on Instagram.
Wow, what a fascinating story. So what I love about that is that it's interesting how God works, isn't it? Like he took an event that may have been viewed as like something terrible that happened to you, like breaking your ankle, and not just like a clean break to the point where you needed all these surgeries and recovery.
but he turned it into something amazing for you. And it was the start of a journey, it sounds like.
Yes.
Yes. Well, and then on top of it, and I think as entrepreneurs, I think many of the people watching will identify with this. Like you said, you constantly have ideas, your mind is always going.
Yeah.
We are like these amazing idea engines. And if anything, you know, and let me know if you can relate, we have more ideas than we have time to tackle, right? And so I love that you noticed what was happening in the world and that a lot of people and a lot of entrepreneurs, maybe they weren't very online focused or very social media focused, but COVID kind of forced them to move into that world just out of necessity, right? And so you saw an opportunity to really help more people. And you
Exactly.
were brave enough to step into it, which I love. I
Whole
love
new
that.
world to me.
Yeah.
Business coaching, Instagram coaching, but you just have to push that fear, the doubts, the insecurities that you may have, and really just start. And I can't wait to teach, right now, when we start, how you can leverage the power of just the platform for all social media and for business and creative, the power of Instagram that can do for your business.
Absolutely. Well, and you also talked about showing up authentically,
Mm.
sharing your real heart, your real self. And I can tell that you're going to be the perfect person for us to learn from because I feel that heart even just here on, on camera. I can tell that I can feel that authenticity. So I'm so excited to dig into this. Now, Instagram is a really interesting platform because it's so dynamic. It has so many different elements, right? You can post, you can share stories, there's reels, there's Instagram TV. But I noticed when you were talking about your initial journey into becoming a successful influencer yourself,
Mhm.
you mentioned hashtags. So let's start there. What role do hashtags play on Instagram and how important is it to like figure out the whole hashtag game?
Hashtags. So think of hashtags. So hashtags are keywords. That's what they are. Keywords that like drives your content to the right people that are searching for that specific content.
Mhm.
So if you are, for example, a candle maker, your business is all about candles. You got to think first of who is my target audience, because then you can create those specific keywords. When searching for hashtags, who is my target audience? What she, he, or they may be searching on Instagram. So you're going to start creating keywords and brainstorming those keywords. How do they label themselves? If you are a local boutique or photographer that really needs local people, then you have to leverage your location plus the hashtags, community. So there's different categories of hashtags that you can utilize on Instagram and really leverage all of those keywords that Instagram is giving you because it's a free tool. So it's a free tool that you can reach all that target audience on Instagram. And so that's pretty much you create content. So now you got to utilize this free tool of hashtags, have a strategy. So it's not just posting on the fly or in your red light and thinking, oh, okay, hashtag love, hashtag selfie. It's more to it. So you want me to tell you like the whole strategy, like in really try to.
Yeah, I mean, so again, I know we'll have some people watching who are brand new to Instagram and some people who are maybe they've been using it for a while, but they really want to up their game. So, of all the strategies and that you can implement across Instagram, how important are hashtags? Are they like right at the top of the list, like thou must nail your hashtags? Or
So think of visibility. When you think of hashtags, think of exposure, visibility. How are you going to really become visible to that target audience on Instagram? Because if they're searching for candles, if they're searching for fall clothing, that's when your content, your image with your caption is going to populate on the hashtag grid. Visibility, exposure, and also building a community. Because when you use community hashtags, when you know where this target audience or these your ideal clients are hanging out on Instagram, you can leverage the community hashtags to find them and then start engaging and building relationships. So you can utilize up to 30 hashtags. Now, it's been a really like, a lot of people think right now, oh, you only have to use 8. You only have to use 11. There's different numbers that you're going to find online, 8, 15, 20. So when you are new and you're just growing, you have less than 5,000 followers, I always recommend to all my clients to utilize most of them, up to 30. Because like I said, if it's each keyword, think of that each keyword is a chance for you to start growing. Okay. But if you already have more than 10,000 followers, let's say 10 or 20,000 followers, and you already have built an engaging following, so that will not be your priority right now. You probably want to start taking your business to the next level, building more relationships, not much of a visibility or reach. So you can just start with 15. You don't need that much. So the higher is your following, you can start utilizing less hashtags. 100,000K account, they don't need to utilize 30. They don't even need to 20 because they already built their community. That's why you probably on those larger accounts, you see that they only use 5 or 3.
Yeah, that totally
that's
makes
all
sense.
to it. So
if you're new to Instagram, figuring out your hashtags is huge because that's every single hashtag is an opportunity for the right people to find you.
yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, plus it's free. It's a free tool. Like it doesn't cost any money to use hashtags.
Free tool. And it's like, that's how I grow without paying any for ads. That's how you're going to grow organically, using the right hashtag. So you got to have some sort of a strategy, and geotagging your post as well, using that location if you're just starting on Instagram.
Yeah.
But hashtags are not everything. So I would say if you're new to Instagram and you want to, get to that 10,000 followers, which in my own world, I have seen clients with less than 1,000 followers and really building a business, having sales, having that impact on other people. So you really don't need a huge number to really be successful. You don't. But if that's in your goal to really create a massive following, hashtags are not going to be the number one tool to grow. It's more to it. So
they're an important tool, but not the number one.
No, it's not the number one. Hashtags will help you maximize your growth efforts. If you're already creating very valuable content, you already probably have your branding already on point. So hashtags are going to help you reach the people, get visibility, get the exposure that you need, and reach those people with the right hashtags, but it's not the number one.
So I do want to get to what the number one thing is. But before we do that, I have a few follow-up questions about hashtags. So in case people are just getting started, or maybe they're just wanting to, get a little bit more efficient on Instagram, I'm hearing if you're trying to grow your following, use as many of those 30 as possible. What types of hashtags should be included in those 30? Should they go for like the biggest hashtags that get all the hits, tiny hashtags, a mix? Like what's the right mix if you're just trying to come up with your first strategic mix of 30?
Yeah. So first, brainstorm categories. So the categories, as I mentioned, it's your niche and your industry. So where do you fall? Which category do you fall on Instagram? You're an entrepreneur, you're a creative, you're a small business owner. What is your industry and niche? The second category is target audience. What are they searching for? And what did they label themselves? Are they a corporate mom, stay-at-home mom, or are they creative? And then third category is your location. Always lose the location because people are searching for things online, especially local and specific. And then community hashtags. So with those categories in mind, I will brainstorm those keywords put them like in columns. So I got your industry, have at least sets of 30. So you have more than 100 hashtags to choose from. 30 industry, 30 target audience, 30 community, 30 location. And then let's say maybe you were in the holidays, fall, Christmas, then you can add those very specific hashtags to it, and then leave a room for about 3 to 5, I will say 5 hashtags that are very, very specific to your image and to your caption.
Okay.
Instagram is uses machine learning. So it scans a picture. If your picture has a cat or an ice cream cone or something like that, then I will start searching for ice cream or cat, something that's specific to your image and specific to the keywords in your caption.
Oh, fascinating. Okay, so let me dig a little bit into what would a community hashtag be? Like, what would fall into that category?
Boss Babe, that's a community where thousands and millions of people are hanging out. That's why I say, like, where are they hanging out? Community hashtag will be, if you are a photographer, a community will be photographers of Instagram, bloggers of Instagram.
Okay. Or like boy mom. All the boy moms hang out, like.
Yeah, or like scary mommy. That's like a blog, like a very big scary memes or scary mommy. Like, they're pretty much a community where people are just looking for people of the same niche.
Okay, so that makes sense. And then you said you recommended having multiple location hashtags, but well, I have 2 questions around location. The first is, I mean, once you identify like your city and state, how many different locations can you have beyond that? Are you talking about like literal places within your city or?
Your largest, so think of like, let's say New York City. So what is my nearest city? Where is my largest city? Where is, you could also do New York Life. Then probably there is Long Island lifestyle. If you are a service, maybe a restaurant or a boutique, then you'll probably want to utilize New York influencer, New York blogger. So you're reaching those people in your area, and then you just keep using the ones, your city and your nearest largest city. So your city, your nearest largest city. And also location, meaning by places. Are you in a coffee shop that is very popular? Then you can use, they have branded hashtags as well. Maybe you're in a resort, so that resort uses a location specific hashtag.
Sure. So that makes sense. So then one of my follow-up questions, and I'm sure the audience is wondering too, like if you're a restaurant, I get that you very much need to rely on your geographical area. But let's say you're an online entrepreneur, right? And you're not limited to your geographical location and you can talk to anyone across the entire country. Should you still be using the location hashtags?
For example, I do. Like, I have global clients from all over the world, but I still do because I want to be known in my area as well for opportunities locally, for people, for other business owners to reach out to me so I can probably go meet them. As an influencer, I utilize those things also to have opportunities, other opportunities in your area. You can help business owners right where you live, but they don't know who you are or what services do you offer because you have not utilized your location hashtags.
Okay. Yeah, that helps a lot. So for the people who live in rural areas and they're maybe out in the country, should they still be using location? Should they just kind of tag themselves to the nearest big city that they?
The nearest, yes, which I had clients like that too, which they're very small towns, and they started utilizing the largest nearest city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's still smart to do that, even if you're not geographically limited in your business.
Yeah. And that plus geotagging the post, that combination is really going to maximize your visibility. And people are going to start discovering your account.
Yeah. So then you come up with a mix of 30 in each of these categories. So by the end, you have 100 or more.
100 or more.
Yeah. So do you mix and match which ones you use on different posts?
Yes, so I was going to get to that. So when you have, let's say you already crafted your caption, you crafted your image or your slide of images, now you're going to say, okay, what's my image? Like I said, Instagram scans images. What is my image? What am I trying to convey through my message? So you're going to pick like 5 to 10 of one category, another category through all your categories, 5, 5, 5. And then you want to utilize sizes. So you're going to maximize your visibility through using a small, medium, and large size hashtags. Small is anything from 5,000 to 25,000 posts on that hashtag. So you want to utilize, if you're new and just growing, you have less than 5,000 followers, you want to use more of the small. You can utilize from 10 to 15, 5 to 25,000 to leverage those niche hashtags. Then medium size is anywhere from 25 to the 100K. So again, if you're new and less than 5,000, do a small, focus on the small and medium hashtags. And then you can use a little bit less of the large ones, which are anywhere from like 101 to like 500,000. You want to stay up to there, small, medium, and large. The very large ones, which are anywhere from the 501 to like millions, 3-5 millions. Let's say you have more than 10,000 followers. Now you can leverage those large ones. You can do 3 to 5 of them to get that quick engagement. So as you grow, you drop the amount of hashtags from the small ones and from the mediums and start utilizing more mediums, large, and very large.
Ah, that's super helpful. So I'm curious, like how many of you in the audience, right? And we'll talk about this in the Facebook group. How many of you are already thinking about your categories and your numbers and like wanting to create a sheet? I know I am.
That's a whole strategy. And that's what I help to, like if anyone needs that 101 specific, that's what I also have. But it really does help because you're not going to be throwing hashtags on the fly.
Yeah.
You're not going to be thinking, but you also have to search them on Instagram just to make sure that Instagram have not blocked that hashtag. They can, it's called banning hashtags. Ban hashtags, like beauty blogger is a banned hashtag, so don't use that one.
Really? Why would they ban them? That's so weird to me.
So if you type in, for example, beauty blogger, which is a banned hashtag, you're going to see a message right above that says this hashtag has violated. So they have violated some community guidelines, or a lot of users on Instagram have reported the hashtag because of the content sensitivity.
Oh.
Because this goes to people using the wrong hashtags in their content for visibility. So maybe a digital marketer use beauty blogger, for example, and their post is all about, I don't know, paid ads on Facebook.
And it has nothing to do with beauty.
It has nothing to do with beauty bloggers. So me as a user, I'm going to look for that image. I'm going to be like, what? They hit the 3 dots, report content. They're going to report the content. So the more people doing this, it signals to the algorithm, oh, a lot of people are reporting this type of content, so we're going to block the hashtag.
So it's not necessarily just the like bad hashtags that get blocked. It could just be anyone who is using them incorrectly too many times. It could get banned. Oh, that's fascinating.
Because as I said, when you go to a hashtag, what does the hashtag read? It shows you images. And Instagram, the algorithm needs to know that your image belongs into that category. And if you just pop whatever hash, that's what I'm saying, is so important that you search the hashtag.
Oh, wow.
It's not banned. You don't want to use it. You'll see that message right above. This hashtag has been blocked, banned. You don't want to use it.
No kidding.
And that's why it's so important to have a strategy so you're not popping the wrong hashtags, because you're going to have the chances that someone will report your content as well, because they just don't want to see that content in the hashtag grid.
Yeah. So I hope for the viewers that are watching, I hope you're catching a couple things come up over and over again. Have a strategy and don't just throw spaghetti at the wall.
And search them.
You want to think it through. So this is super helpful. Thank you. Any other big tips on hashtags before we move on to the number one?
So don't use, now that you have, some sort of a strategy and an amount, which is 100 or more, a lot of people think that copy and pasting hashtags, you're going to be having chances to have your account flagged because the algorithm is going to keep seeing the same sets of your hashtags post to post to post. So that creates kind of like, it's not good to have. Rotate them. So you can use the same hashtags, but in different order. So they're not the same set each time.
So even if you do want to use the same set multiple times, copy and paste them in a different order. So that every third or fourth time you're using a different set.
Yes. So they're like in different places on your set. They're like not in the same order.
Yeah. So you could have like variation 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the same group of hashtags.
And like I said, and also leave space for like 5 hashtags that are specific to that post.
Okay. So one other thing that I've noticed, and I'm sure the viewers have noticed as well, some people put the hashtags in the post itself and some people put them in the first comment. Does it make a difference? Are they both fine?
Yeah, that's one question that we get all the time. So right now with the changes that the head of Instagram has said about if you want to, with the search feature, when people are searching for things, if you want to become more visible, again, in the search, they want you to put hashtags in the caption. So that means with your post, not in the comment. But if you write long captions, you don't have space, and don't panic because that's only to become visible in the search. That has nothing to do if you want to grow, will help you grow over time. You can still put them in the comments. So what I recommend is putting your most specific hashtags that are related to your image into your caption, what your account is about. So that's what the Instagram wants to know. So they can categorize your content into the appropriate hashtag. So put at least like 5 or 10 of those in the caption, and then you can add the rest in the first comment.
Oh, I love that. That's super helpful. Pro tip. So make sure to write that one down in your VIP action workbook, everyone, if you have that out. So, okay. So we've talked hashtags, but you had told us before, hashtags actually aren't the number one thing. So what is the number one thing that you want to make sure you're doing as you grow your Instagram account?
So it's all about creating that strong brand presence on Instagram. Because if you think about branding, Instagram changes. Like every week there's an update on something. Reels came, right? Hashtags are changing. Everything will change. Marketing evolves. But when you create a strong brand and presence, that will not change.
So what would you consider to fall under the umbrella of a strong brand? Like, what are the elements that people should be checking the box to make sure they have a strong brand?
Yeah, I'm going to give you, and if you guys want to take notes, 3 key steps onto building an authentic and a strong brand that aligns to your values to show up on Instagram. So first is storytelling. So that's huge. Why? Because people like stories sell. That's like a no-brainer. People buy from emotion. Mm-hmm. When you tell your story, you're connecting to the right people. So being vulnerable about, like, when I share about my story, people share their story, but in a way that you're putting your customer, that potential client, potential customer, as the hero of your story. Mm. Whatever you're going through, you have to think, how is my story going to impact someone else? How is it going to touch someone else's life? And by creating the storytelling, the power of the storytelling, you're going to reach those people. They're going to become like, oh, like I know her already. Like I like her. So you want to build a like and know trust factor. And the storytelling is one step to build a like and know trust factor. Without telling a story of what is your why are you doing what you're doing? Like you have to have a why. Like why did you create your business? Why? And share your story along the way because it really connects deeply in an emotional level with people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. And I've experienced that myself, both being a follower of others, but also being an influencer myself. And I've experienced it on both sides. And we talk about that a lot. And we'll continue to talk about this in the Facebook group, everyone. So definitely join this conversation about you have to put a person at the heart of your business.
You got to humanize your brand. You cannot just hide behind a logo or behind pictures, behind graphics. People want to know who is the owner, who is this person behind your brand.
Like, are they a good person?
Right? Like, trying to help people when you're going to hide behind graphics or behind your logo, right? You want to humanize your brand, and it's all about really connecting. It's really about that, building relationships and sharing your story in a way that how is this going to impact someone's life?
Right. Or maybe inspire them to take the first step or make them believe in themselves or just, and I couldn't agree more. The minute someone feels an emotion when they encounter your content, they like, as humans, there's something that happens when emotions are triggered. It tells us we need to remember this person.
You want to become a memorable brand. And there's so many components on really how that should be your goal, actually, to have a strong brand and also become memorable to others. It's those little things. It's how and I'm going to talk about brand voice. It's your message. It is not like what you're communicating, but how you're communicating. Me and Adrienne, we could sell the same product, the same service, but at the end of the day, it is how I'm communicating my message to you. How Adrienne communicates her message is totally different. My brand voice is going to be different than hers. It is how I am communicating what I do in a way that is authentic to me, right? I am not a loud person. I am not one of those that, I'm different. I'm unique. I'm not the typical coach. And people notice that.
Only Giuliana can be Giuliana, right? Exactly. Only Adrienne can be Adrienne.
You have your own superpower, and sometimes you have to dig deep on like, what's going to make me unique? What's your unique differentiator online? Like I said, you could be selling the same thing with thousands of other people, but at the end of the day, you got to share and humanize your brand. People want to see face and connect and see, oh, she does this, but in a different way.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. And I know we both kind of have this same viewpoint of it's not at all about what you sell. It's about who you serve and speaking directly into a person's heart and showing them your real heart. So the great news, you just have to be yourself. But
that's where your brand voice comes in.
Being yourself, like creating a brand is really just being yourself, but being brave enough to be your real self. That can be hard sometimes.
I know. And a lot of people, when I talk to privately with all my students and clients, some of them, it's hard. Like they're almost in tears saying like, I have this in the past and I've grown this way. I've been raised by my mom telling me all these negative things in my head and I cannot just show up. I cannot do it. They're like, I cannot show stories. I don't want to. But like, it's like, you don't have to share your dirty laundry. You don't have to share those negative or those stuff. That's what I said in the beginning. How you gotta craft your story in a digestible way that people will understand where are you coming from and how you got where you're at now in a way that you put them as the hero. How can they relate to your story? So that's different than just sharing, hey, I'm so-and-so and I came from an abusive relationship, right? You don't have to say it that way. You could say in a way that relates to your target audience with their own words.
Yeah.
So that all comes from market research. That's like, I could speak about market research for hours. So that's another thing. You got to know your audience, right? You got to know who you serve.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I couldn't agree more. And so another common thread I see all throughout this, you have to know who you're speaking to. You have to know who your audience is. So for the people who are watching, and I know I see this a lot out there, so let's speak to this for just a moment. I would love to hear your take on this.
Yeah.
For the people who are saying, yeah, but my product or my service can help everybody. Shouldn't I talk to everybody? What would you say to that?
No, and that's my next step on building an authentic brand. You got to be super clear, crystal clear, that every time when you're creating content, showing up online, sharing your stories, doing IGTVs, whatever type of content strategy you have, you got to have that one person that you serve in the back of your head. But when you're talking to that just one person, you not only become confident in camera, because it's like you're talking to a friend, right? You're going to be solving those pain points. So you got to know, let's say Adrienne is my ICA and I want to help her lose those last 10 pounds so she can look radiant for her wedding. So now you're going to be solving a pain point that she wants to lose those last 10 pounds so she can look great with the wedding dress so she can fit in quickly for her wedding. So you got to solve that one problem with your one solution. What are really her struggles? What is she struggling right now? So it's beyond demographics. You got to know the psychographic of this persona.
Oh, that's so helpful.
Once you know what is she reading? What books is she reading? What stores does she, because there are different types. I mean, my client could be different than yours, but we're selling the same thing. You see, that's very different. We could be selling the same product, but my avatar is going to be more maybe a luxury person that likes to go to the Ritz-Carlton, but maybe your avatar, and we're selling the same thing, is going to be just someone that just goes to Walmart.
Right.
So it's an example of that. So you got to know who you're serving.
And that's so helpful, because what I hear from people a lot is they're trying to speak to the whole world. And so when you're trying to craft a post or a message or whatever it is, and you're trying to speak to the entire world, it feels like an impossible task. But once you imagine one person in one unique situation with one particular problem they're trying to solve, mentally, it feels so much easier to speak to that one person than it does to try to talk to the entire world.
And that's when you build, that's another component, when you build the like and know and trust factor, because people just buy from people that they trust. I mean, that's just automatically, it's like, okay, I like the person because she's creating content, likable content. I feel like I know her because she's sharing part of her story that connects with me. And now I feel like I trust her because, right, she is with her authentic voice. She's creating all this content that speaks to me. So they want to feel seen and heard. So the next step on the building this authentic brand and a strong brand on Instagram, it comes to clear communication. So you got to be crystal clear on who you serve, what we just spoke, and having your authentic voice as the brand voice. Because what your message, it is what you're communicating, but your brand voice is how you communicate it. So you don't want to be blending in, being a copycat like others in your industry are showing up. You know, it's just showing up authentically with your own voice. And you really have to know the differences in your industry. What's the gap? There's always a gap. When you do market research, there's always a gap in your market. Okay, thousands of other people are doing network marketing or are selling the orange fizz, but the way that they're doing it is different than how I'm going to show up online on Instagram. That is finding that voice, finding how you're going to create different type of content and talking to the ICA, to the ideal client avatar. in a way that is not the same as other people.
Well, and the great news, I think what's so encouraging about this advice, you guys, and I hope you see the true, like that this is gold, what Giuliana is giving you right now, is the great news is that once you know who you're speaking to and you have good branding and good marketing and good marketing works on every platform. It works no matter where you put it, because it's like a foundational skill that
Exactly.
good branding and marketing on Instagram is going to work just as well as good branding and marketing on any of the other platforms. So if you get good at that, you'll be good no matter where you show up.
That's what I'm saying. Marketing evolve. Instagram is changing. I mean, it changes all the time. But when you really have this a strong brand, is the core foundation of your marketing. It's going to build your credibility always. You're going to keep getting better. You're going to become more confident. You're going to have more social proof. So it builds your credibility, and it builds that confidence, because now that you have found your voice, you have found all of your marketing strategy and who you're going to speak to, you're going to be more confident talking, speaking your stories, doing video. So it will attract more people, obviously. So the third step that I have here is emotional connection. So it's so important. And I love this part, because when we talk about building the like, I know, and trust factor, I want you to think of this 3 V's. There's 3 V's that you can remember very easy. So one is vulnerability, kind of what we just spoke about, storytelling. So being vulnerable in your own story, but that connects with others. That's sharing any failures that you have had, any hardships, moments that you had in your life, but all that relates to your ICA. That's humanizes your brand. The other V is creating valuable content. So it's value, providing value all the time. It is no longer 2012 where you could just post a selfie of you or a picture of a sun and be like, hey, have a great day. And you just gain a lot of followers. It is more to it now. So creating value, speaking directly to your ICA. So you really hone in on your ICA. Now you get to provide value into their lives. All those how-tos, tutorials, any tips and tricks that you have from your niche and your industry that you can provide to them. You want to create content that really do takeaways. What are they going to take away from this particular post every single time? And you don't have to be posting every single day. Like a lot of people, a lot of gurus say, post multiple times. They're posting, and I see it, they're posting 3 times a day, Monday through like Sunday or Saturday. That's a lot. That's a lot of content that you're going to have to come up with, and it's going to lead to burnout and not enjoying Instagram. So focus on quality over quantity, and this comes to content strategy, to have a content strategy as well, to have those content buckets, all those main topics that you want to share with your audience, right? What are they going to take away? Post with intention. And even if you're going to make them laugh, that's creating value to their life. So it doesn't have to be educational content all the time. So in a little quick tip that people come to Instagram for is to be inspired, motivated, educated, because they always want to learn something, and they want to be entertained. So those are the content pillars. So if you stick to those content pillars, say today, what type of content am I going to create to inspire them or motivate them to take action? It comes Tuesday or Wednesday. What type of content am I going to create to entertain them? Then another day, what type of content I'm going to create to educate them? So now you stick to those pillars and then create content buckets. Buckets meaning main topics. You're going to create every week. So that was part of the valuable. And then the third V is viral content. So we got vulnerable, valuable, and now viral content. With this viral content, meaning quotes and memes. So because people will not share a selfie of you, like they don't tend to share, posts of a kids or family. They share quotes, and you see it all the time. People share quotes that share those funny memes, right? Funny graphics that are relatable to your niche. When people share those quotes in their stories, and think about that each of your followers have maybe 2,000 followers and they have an average of 100 views. Now you have 100 eyeballs into your profile times maybe 2 people share it. So now you have 200 eyeballs directly reading your name, reading your handle. So that's a way that you're going to have more exposure. And also people that are going to come to your profile. And let's say your profile is optimized, fully optimized, and you're creating so valuable content. You checked off the other 2 V's. They're going to consume your content. So they're going to see that it is valuable, that is vulnerable. Now the viral meme, that viral story that you created, right, is right there. So everything complements.
Oh, that's wonderful. So if people are implementing these 3 V's, which are so simple and easy to remember, I mean, we can do this, you guys, we got this, right? So if you have the 3 V's, you have the super strong and clear branding, and you have the right hashtags, there's no reason you can't grow very quickly
and with the right people. One thing is like, you got to have a goal. Do you want to just grow a mass following? Then it really just buy giveaways or do follow loops or whatever those things. You really have to have a goal. It's like, why I want to grow on Instagram. Is it you want to increase sales? What is it? You want to build a community. But if you do all of these steps, you can build a community of targeted followers that are going to love your content. And it's kind of like a slow and steady, right? It's not an overnight growth. Slow and steady. You will build an impactful brand on Instagram. So let me share the 3rd step. So it's emotional connection.
Yeah.
Emotional connection, it is, said and done that more than 90% of people, right, buy from emotions, are amazed out of emotions, whatever device made out of emotions. So you got to create content that is emotionally engaged and is connecting with your audience. That's where the trust comes from. So if you can build content that creates the like and the know, now that you're creating this emotional connection, it's going to build the trust.
Mm-hmm.
When you know your ICA, the ideal client avatar, struggles, you're going to create content that speaks to their pain points, that is going to speak to what does she want in life, what does she need, what is her desire, and now you have created a bond. Mm-hmm. There's a special bond that you have created from Instagram. So it's that where the emotion comes from.
And then they start to believe that you're the one person who can help them move past that, because not only have you been there just like them and you can relate to them because you used to be in the exact same spot, but you've moved past it and you can help them move past it as well.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. So what a really nice framework to share with the audience. Super, super helpful. And so
without feeling overwhelmed of posting every day.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. When I love that, like, if you're hitting on all those key things, you can focus on quality over quantity. Yeah. And you don't have to be a slave to Instagram or be a slave to your phone or a slave to your business.
You got to know exactly, like I said, I have a goal. And maybe like I help my clients have like monthly goals. Like what is your monthly goal? Do you want to just increase sales? So then you have a little shift with your content, maybe a shift with what you're doing on Instagram. But if you just want to build momentum, build followers, then you got to know, maybe now with Reels, you probably want to create Reels, incorporate those Reels into your content strategy, utilize more video, because also video, they can show your personality. People can see you, how you're talking and everything. So that's having that content strategy, optimizing your Instagram and having those aspects to create that strong brand presence.
Yeah. So for each of the 4 areas that Giuliana shared with us, you guys, I hope that you're noticing that these tips, these strategies that she shared, you could use on a post, you could use on a story, you could use on a reel, you could use on Instagram TV, you can use on any of the actual features that Instagram offers because they're fundamental. They can be used anywhere.
Exactly. In a blog, people use blogs, right, for marketing, or a blogger, just utilize, for example, if you created a caption, you can break that caption and repurpose it for a blog, for a YouTube, for other channels, Twitter. Yeah, you can use one same post and just repurpose it.
Yeah, for anything that you might like. So I love this. I know I'm feeling super inspired from all of this amazingly helpful advice, and I'm sure the audience is too. And I know you have the perfect gift to help them get started with their new Instagram journey. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's hashtags. It's going to be it's a free guide on how to actually search. So, search for those right specific targeted hashtags for your account. So we'll give you my 4-step formula on how to search for hashtags so you can start building that momentum, visibility, and exposure. And it's going to help you maximize all of your other growth efforts to grow on Instagram.
Oh, wonderful. What an abundant gift. You guys, be sure to scoop up that gift. Make use of that because, obviously you can apply this formula that she's giving for how to come up with your hashtags. Of course, you can apply it to Instagram, but hashtags can be used on more than one platform. So once you come up with the right mix, you can always use these hashtags other places too, you guys. So be sure to scoop those up. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Impactful Entrepreneur Show. If you found amazing value here, like, subscribe, and leave us a review to help other people find the high value content that we share, and find us on social media so we can continue the conversation. See you in the next episode.